School. She was a captain on Heritage. They finished second in the state tournament her senior year. That senior year, she was Player of the Year in Colorado, and she was also the Gatorade Player of the Year for Colorado. She captained our 18-1 team that year to our gold medal at the JO National Championships in 18 Open, where she was also selected as the MVP in the 18 Open division of the Junior National Championships. After Amanda got done with us, let's go to another screen. After Amanda got done with us, she went to Ohio State, where she was a 4-year academic Big Ten and Ohio State Scholar Athlete. After leaving Ohio State, she went to work for Cisco Corporation. Cisco. Apparently Cisco's getting ready to take over the world when it comes to internet stuff. Is that right? Okay, internet stuff. So she's been with Cisco Systems, that's what it is, Cisco Systems, okay. Cisco Systems for 7 years, and she's been a successful account manager, exceeding quotas, receiving sales champion awards, and exceeding expectations year in and year out. Cisco is a worldwide leader in IT and a $50 billion company that has shaped the future of the internet by transforming how people connect, communicate, and collaborate. Standout was professionally written by someone working at Cisco Systems. Well done. Okay. And I'm so excited that she's here to talk to you tonight. Like I said, Amanda was a real joy to coach, and I'm real excited that she's going to be here and talk to you guys, kind of tell you kind of her story while she was at Front Range, and then after that.
I'm really honored and excited to be here with all of you guys tonight. I graduated 13 years ago, and yet I still feel like this is my family, and I don't think that'll ever change. So, like all of you guys, I was a Front Range lifer. I started when I was 12, as Jim said, on the pink team. And it was actually my mom that threw me into volleyball because I started to hang around the wrong crowd. I was getting into a little bit of trouble. She didn't like where that was going. And the story my mom tells is actually, I did my research and I found the very best club in the state, so I'm going to push you over to Front Range, which was actually pretty easy to find because at the time there were only like 4 clubs in Colorado, which definitely isn't the case anymore. But I still think that my mom found the only club that would keep me busy 6 days a week so she can be sure that I didn't get into any trouble, right? But so if you take anything from this speech, is that moms know best. I actually vividly remember the turning point in my career. I was 14 and playing for Steve Huntingdale at the time, so I know he's not a coach now, but he works with a lot of you guys. He was actually a 14s coach my entire Front Range career. I thought I was the best. I didn't take a lot of ownership, and if our team was losing, it was because everyone around me wasn't doing their job. I thought that I was just pushing my teammates, but I was constantly down their throats and yelling and on their backs all the time. And I think in my mind, I thought that's how you showed your competitive edge. So we were actually at a qualifier, and we lost a really big match. And it was a match that we should have won, and it would have moved us on. And for those of you, I don't think any of you have had the opportunity to play for Steve, but you don't want to make Steve mad. He pulled me aside after that match and said, Amanda, actually Sam, they call me Sam. Sam, you have a bad attitude. And no one wants to play with you on the court. And you're good, but you're holding yourself and your team back from being great. And that was a very short, kind version of how that conversation went. Trust me, because for those of you who know Steve, he was redhead, in your face, spit flying. He was angry. And that was a tough message to hear at the age of 14. It's something I actually hadn't heard before. I mean, maybe my parents told me that before, but they're my parents. But Steve told me that. It was a big deal, and it was at that moment that I knew I needed to be different. If I wanted to be the leader that I thought I was, I needed to work harder than everyone else. I needed to fix my attitude, because honestly, attitude is everything. If what you bring in skill can very, very quickly be diminished by a negative attitude. And I knew I needed to bring my very, very best every single day. And that's not something that happened overnight. It was something that I consciously had to think about every single day when I stepped on that court. And I know how hard it is to give 110% every single day, but I'll tell you guys something that you might not realize is if you push yourself today, and if you train yourself to think like a champion today, and every single day in this environment, you'll walk out those front range doors and that just becomes who you are in everything that you do. You guys play for one of the best clubs in the country. You guys are pushed outside your comfort zone and trained with the best coaches in the country. So if you can allow yourself to give 110%, you just put yourself in a position to really set yourself apart from your peers as you go on to college and then on to the post-volleyball work life. That's right, guys, you can't play volleyball forever. It's something that comes next. But when I say, you have the opportunity now to set yourself apart from your peers, I'm not talking about your skills on the court or your physical strength. I'm talking about what's in here and what's in here. And that's something that you absolutely cannot fake. After I graduated college, I interviewed for a job that I knew nothing about with a company that was in an industry that was foreign to me. It was a sales job with Cisco. It's the company I work for today, so I'm sure you guys can all put the pieces together on how the story ends. But I couldn't sell ice to an Eskimo, and I had no idea what a router was. That's something that we sell at Cisco, right? I was taking a big leap. For the interview process, they actually flew me out to North Carolina, and they put me in a room with 50 other candidates and plucked us out one by one for interviews that lasted for 3 days. I mean, it was intense. Every single candidate in that room had a business degree, they had engineering degrees, they had IT experience and technology certificates, and I was an athlete. All I did was play volleyball my whole life. That's what I did. That's who I was. I had no work experience, and I was probably the least qualified person in that room. But like all of you, I was able to offer something that no one else in that room could offer. A lot of people talk about how passionate they are, and how committed they are to the team, and how hardworking and driven, and they're willing to do whatever it takes to be the best, right? A lot of people talk about that. For us, it's not, those aren't just words that come out of our mouth. We live it, we breathe it, it's who we are, and we've done it since we were really young. As athletes, we have to overcome challenges mental and physical challenges that most people don't experience in a lifetime. You all have a story to tell. So tell your story and show your passion. I did, and it worked, right? That was one of 2 individuals in that entire room of 50 that got hired onto Cisco. You guys all have it in you to be great, so don't be afraid to take a leap. Be brave and bold in everything that you do, because you might be surprised by what this family has revered you for. Thank you.
Very nice. Wow. She did a little more than I thought she could do. I thought she just scored points on the outside, which is an important thing to do. Score points on the outside, okay?